in GT Bank, they are doing a change, to a stronger and more reliable software, banking software. While with Zenith, they upgraded to a higher level so that customers will be served better. And you remember, their capital base is also short up, so they have to do something or carry out IT investment that will be comparable with the capital base of the bank.
So this upgrade and switch, you said their core system is being upgraded or switched. What is this system? Is it so people cannot hack into their system? Is it so that their services can be smoother? Is it so? I mean, what really is the essence of this upgrade? Can you educate Nigerians?
Okay, the core banking software is the software. It's a software. Mm-hmm. Is the software that every other thing is the software that every other thing rides on. Is the software that every other thing rides on. Therefore, the bank has to make it to be stronger. They have to make it to be to put themselves in a more competitive position in the market, and also to make them serve customers better, make their services, especially their IT-based services, make it to be better. Yes.
So it has nothing to do with whether the bank is going through a tough financial cycle or not.
No, not at all. The banks are stable. In fact, the Zenith and GT is just like calling them our best, one of our best. Like you have the best 11.
Okay.
The best 11. Then you are playing the football game. So it's just what they are doing now is a normal thing, but what people are worried, the cause of the worries is because it's obstructing or disrupting people's transactions. So the approach is what the banks have to improve upon going forward. But in terms of healthiness of the banks, there is nothing to worry about.
Now you've mentioned approach. I was saying that the banking sector is very critical to the economy of any nation because, that's where usually people do buying and selling. They use the banking platforms to do buying and selling. So given how disruptive services have been in the past few weeks, especially for these two banks, is there going to be some level of compensation for customers, especially those who were hit very hard?
The fact is that there is no provision for such compensation. The issue, as I said, the approach is something that has made a lot of people to complain and also disrupted some people's transactions. So what the bank should do going forward is to adopt other approaches of changeover. It could be pilot or parallel, so that during the work hours, the old platform could be running and customers will be trading or doing their transactions with the old platform. Then in the evening, all transactions there will be uploaded to the new one. So the approach could be what maybe people may query, but in terms of stability, in terms of healthiness, there is nothing to worry about.
No, I do get the point where you say in terms of healthiness, there's nothing to worry about. And I understand what you've said. However, I'm saying that, yes, they have to upgrade their systems given the fact that they have also grown as institutions. But then people had to go through very tough time. Now, I think one of our news bulletin captured a person who may have lost a loved one because he wasn't able to do a transfer or, a banking transaction to help his relative at the hospital. And in that case, in that situation, one would wonder if the rules, the guidelines allows for some level of compensation for people who, patronize these banks.
There is, Mr. Kalana, the fact is that there is no provision unless where a bank falters in their system and a customer loses his money or part of his or her money, then the person can take certain steps to recover the money. But with regards to this upgrade, yes, some people may have been disappointed. Yes, some transactions may have been aborted or delays may have occurred. But there is no place where it is written that the bank should pay for such damages,
Okay,
unless maybe a customer can just take other legal steps, and definitely the bank will defend herself, and the court will now determine whether what the customer is saying is valid or not.
all right. Now, the question I want to ask you is: are they particular guidelines as to how a bank should transition from one core, system to another?
No, it's something that every institution have to determine. As I said, there are various ways of changeover. So it depends on the institution to know the best that suits it and the best that it can also finance, because any
We'll try to reconnect with the guest and we'll try to get your questions, by the way, because I do feel like there is some network issue from his end. However, the question I'd like to throw at you is, do you feel comfortable? How do I put it now? Do you still trust traditional banking systems? Because a lot of people have been saying on social media that with what has happened, with what is happening, that they have lost all trust. And that's why I started my questioning with if the banks are still very much healthy. And he has said they're healthy. As a matter of fact, their finances are doing very well. However, they have to upgrade with the growth that has happened in the past 12 months or thereabout. And so the next question then is, what are your response to this disruptive services? And by the way, it's technology. Once in a while, there will be malfunctions and all of that stuff. So I want to get your thoughts. Basically, we're looking at it. We're looking at this, and if you're still very much trusting of the banking system. I've tried to reconnect with my guest. Do stay tuned. We do have a commercial, by the way, coming. So you do stay tuned to 92.3 Nigerian Info.
Tuned in to
Nigeria Info.
go. It's the bottom of the hour. Yes, we had a network issue before the break, and we are back. I still have Njoku, the chairman of the Chartered Institute of Bankers or Bankers of Nigeria. It's good to have you. Welcome back. Before the break, you were explaining what the guidelines were for banks to be able to, change their softwares, their core software or core systems. Because once again, I tried to understand, for people who were adversely affected by the disruption of services, and you know how critical the banking platform is to the development of the economy. And I was trying to understand, what the guidelines are, especially if there should be a compensation of some sort for, the people who, have been crying out for weeks now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Calabar. I believe you can hear me.
Loud and clear.
Okay, yes. As I said, centrally, there is nothing like compensation for this kind of thing. But each institution are governed. Each institution is governed by their own IT policy. Each of them have their own IT policy, and that is the way they follow. They follow the IT policy in carrying out any IT, whether change or improvement or even a new project. So they follow it strictly. So there is nothing like maybe in the booth here that you can say that when a bank have this kind of issue and customers are displeased, then they should be paying the customers a certain amount. As I said, if a customer in the course of this now feels that he or she has suffered some damages and now goes to court, then the court will definitely, the bank will also defend themselves, and the judge will have the final say. So that's it.
All right. So do you think, like you've said, the banks, Zenith and GT, are, amongst the top banks in Nigeria. Do you think these disruption services in any way would affect how people do banking? Maybe they would want to opt for online banks, rather than traditional banks. Do you think this will affect the current status quo?
No, it's something that will not persist. After this period, it will not persist. We all know that these two banks that people are talking about now are the top banks in Nigeria, and people have been enjoying their IT services. I mean, their platforms that are online or virtual. So what people are experiencing now is just a temporary thing, that immediately the project is completed, you'll see it again. It's not that after some months it will recur. After some, no.
So how long does it take? Now you've mentioned, how long does it take for such systems to be operational? Now that they have changed the core system, when is it? Every 2 years, every 3 years? In your own experience as a banker, how long does this take for another system upgrade?
No, it's defined by the organization and their level of growth. It's just like as human beings. If you are 14 years and you now grow up to 20, nobody will tell you to change your clothes. So that is the way it is. So it's a function of growth. It's also a function of the internal IT governance of each bank.
Interesting. All right, let's go to the phone lines now. Let's get your thoughts to you listening. You may have been affected one way or the other as a result of disruptive services from some banks. The question I'm asking is, how are you reacting? Do you still have confidence? I mean, even after the conversation with the chairman, does that give you any level of confidence, especially as it relates to traditional banking? Like I did say when I started, the banking sector is very critical to the growth of the economy. Talking about helping, buying and selling, talking about even getting access to loans and all of that stuff. So the banking sector is very, very instrumental to the growth of any economy, especially when we talk the GDP. And I want to know what your confidence level is like. 08179230002, 08179230003, 08179230007. For WhatsApp messages, 0809-030-6416. What are your thoughts? I'd like to hear from you. I really would love to hear from you. So while I'm waiting for the to take your calls, please remember that we are live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, Nigerian to a PH, and we are very much active on X. Let's get your thoughts as well. But I've got this one. This one says, I salute you, my soon-to-be doctor. I like your guest said, system upgrade, but what will happen if they run a one-week jingle on this upgrade to inform customers, thus preventing these undeserved panics and distrust that will soon be evident in the number of customers that are bound to lose, or that they are bound to lose for this information mismanagement and incompetence? When will our institutions learn to be civil? All right, Asetico A with that one. Says soon to be doctor. Let's take Dede's call. Dede is calling from Iwafe. Dede, welcome. What is on your mind? I like to hear.
I greet you.
I greet you as well.
My brother, I'm having a very big reservations about the explanations. Because from what your guest said, that is to say that if the bank is holding my money and my money did not miss, but was not given to me when I needed it, and they have nothing to pay as penalty, or as a result of this their upgrade, which was not communicated to the people on time, it's something that would take like 2, 3, 4, 5 days. We are not told. Only to wake up in the morning, they say there is an upgrade, this thing that is going on. You receive a text message or the. I think I will be going back to
Dede, for GT, I think they did send emails, text messages, even on social media they posted even before it happened.
Oh, okay, but we are having a very big concern is on this. They should at least have something to pay the people, the customers, we the customers, for our loss, because lives we are lost concerning this whole issue. So if the banking institution has nothing to pay the customers, I think there is need for review. That's why we are very not happy with the amalgamation of Nigeria and this constitution, because we support the interests of the customers must be protected. But it's not. People are protesting, they're arresting them, they are gassing them. Many of them are getting one thing or the other. It's in a country, your own country.
All right.
Cannot
Dede, I've got to go.
Dissatisfaction in their services.
Dede, I've got to go. I've got to go. Thank you very much. I've got Ida from Nkoro. Ida, welcome quickly. Let's get you.
Canada, I agree to my brother.
Yes, I agree to you as well.
Canada, for the credit, at least, and also inform us. Although I don't bank with that, I bank with Selling Bank. Selling Bank do their own too. That is empty. But most times they say help one side. So some people now, we won't pay credit now. They blame bank when they know they're in the bank with that bank. They help. And that one, they frustrate people. When they won't go to hospital like this, go collect money, because they don't do transaction. Most 5 days, you never see your money. So I beg, anytime they want to do this, they are upgrading. They inform people, say, see what happen. Even though small money go collect for your house, maybe collect and keep. That's not good.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. Clement from NTA Road. Clement, welcome.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, Clement, welcome.
Good evening to you again.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to ask the guest, is the Nigerian factor affecting our banking system? What I mean by Nigerian factor is, of course, no lightness. Diesel is expensive. Cost of living is expensive too. This by any way affecting the operations, the upgrades, the services of our banks. Now, that is one. As per using the bank or taking an alternative, if the banks are misbehaving like this, well, I would say the same way people say is education is expensive, try illiterate. So that is why we have this situation. But with the way they are driving the financial economy, if you ask me, and the system we find ourselves being Nigeria, because there are things like this, they cannot even try it because these banks have branches in other countries. I know things like this in Nigeria, they'll go away with it. But in other countries, they pay dearly for it. So how has the Nigerian factor helped to kill the banking system or help to improve the banking system? In fact, my main concern is the Nigerian factor and the banking system. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Clement. There, I've got Clinton. After Clinton, I would like to discuss a bit with my guest. So Clinton from Bury, welcome. Let's get your thoughts.
Salada, good afternoon once more.
Yeah, good afternoon once more.
Like your guests have said, Zenith Bank and GT Bank are big names in the banking industry. And that means majority of Nigerians are banking with them. And when you go on such an upgrade, what do you think will happen to your customers without prior notice? Some persons, their money will left hanging. What about those that have emergency situations? Then you're saying that the bank will protect themselves in court? How? When you've disserviced me, you have my service, but you disserviced me, and there's no compensation at all. I think it's really unfortunate. I think the Nigerian factor is playing out here, because if we are in a country where people take citizens serious, I think a bank is working for us. We are paying them for the service that they're rendering. They are supposed to.
But Clinton, that's one side to look at it from. But looking at it from the side that, like my guest has said, that the switching of the core banking software or system or app, whichever one it is to enable them serve you better, is to enable them secure your money better, is to enable them, give you services that will be very much cozy and something you'd like. So is that also not something you should take into cognizance when you criticize the current situation?
But they should give us prior notice, Canada. Give us prior notice that you're going on this upgrade and it will take this long. And if you have so much amount of the money in your account, you can go and withdraw and keep it in your house, so that you will not face this kind of a shortfall. So shouldn't treat Nigerians with levity, please. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Hello, Mr. Njoku, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, before I ask you the question on my mind, I'll let you, react to some of the things the callers have said.
Okay. To start with, the banking system cannot exist in isolation. Okay. It's in Nigeria. So whatever they say is the Nigerian factor in terms of power availability, in terms of network providers stability, things like that can affect the bank, because the bank is connected to these people. So whether you receive a alert or not, it's not the bank is not a telecommunication organization, but it has to pass through your network provider. So that is how it is. But with regards to the stability or the healthiness of the banks, we don't have anything to worry. All that is being done is to make the services better in the future. That is it, because the banks are growing, and they are growing every day, so as you can affirm.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, then the area of the customers customers transactions being delayed, or customers disappointed, or even suffering because of inability to consummate their transactions, is something that occurred as a result. It's something that occurred as a result. And I know that all the banks communicated about this project. There is no bank that will just embark on the project without sending information to the customers. They may not go to the television, but they know that every customer have a telephone. Therefore, they will send information to your telephone, to us, and also to your emails, and it's expected that we read them. Sometimes our people don't even read them when they send this thing. But no bank, in fact, no bank will even close half day, or that is do a half day operation without communicating to the customers. That is it. And as I said, if anybody decides to go to court because of damages suffered, the bank will provide all these things as evidence that they actually communicated and things like that. And the judge will have to look at the law and take the final position.
But talking about communication, I do understand that over the counter, there is a limit to how much you can withdraw. And also, you've just told us not too long ago that the core system, is the system that is instrumental to everything. Concerning the bank, right? So if that core system is being switched, it means that even the automated teller machines would not work effectively, so to say. The POS would also not work effectively. You can't even take money from over the counter to the amount of your liking. So if that be the case, don't you think that even if you submit all of this evidence, to an extent you have restricted the customer from being able to go about his daily activities?
And that is why they communicate before they start any project like this. You cannot go to the bank or use any platform to make any transaction, because everything is based on the software that is being changed. You cannot enter the banking hall physically and they tell them to give you money, because it's automatic. As they're taking your money, it should reflect automatically, because the account has to be debited while you are giving the money. So that is it. You cannot enter the bank and say, oh, you people know me, I'm a known face here, give me money. Anytime you are done, you can now post. It doesn't work that way.
Okay.
No, it doesn't work that way.
All right. So all of this, upgrade and switching core system, does it have any link with the recapitalization that was done not too long ago? Does it have any link? Can you explain for us?
It's still ongoing. It's still ongoing.
Okay.
That is it. Because they are preparing themselves for future challenges. That is it.
Is it that they got more subscribers, more customers, and so they have to expand, to be able to accommodate all of these new people? Is that what the situation is?
Yes, as you have more capital, you cannot leave the capital idle. You have to invest. And the investment means expansion. It means growth in infrastructure, in other things, even services, introduction of more services or more products. So those are the things. And the bank have to look for a platform that is the core banking software that will carry all these things.
So you're saying, from your explanation, what I'm deducing is that more banks, as they grow in the coming days, coming months, will also go for new core systems or even upgrade the ones they have, and so there may be more disruption to banking services. Can I argue in that direction?
Yes, if they grow beyond their present capacity, they will. But I know a bank that is not as big as GT or Zenith that has been using this software. They call it Finacle. They've been using it for many years now. So it may not be a challenge to them. What they can only do is, if the version they are using is trying to be obsolete, they will just improve, which will not take anything. It's not going to be a total change. And everything. You remember, as this change is being done, trainings will be carried out. That is, people will be trained and retrained on the new platform or how to use it, so that there wouldn't be any error, and so that there will be accuracy of transactions. The bank have to be careful, very, 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 very careful, strategic, and apply all methods that will ensure that in the end there wouldn't be any loss of anything. So that is it.
Now, I remember one of the times you and I spoke on this banking issues, I think the issues we spoke about at the time was frauds happening inside of the bank, or people using people's how do I put it? People cloning people's ATM cards. People, trying to hack into accounts and all of that stuff. With this new software, you called it the Finacle, if I heard you correctly. Will this be able to reduce some of these atrocities happening, when we talk banking sector?
Definitely. It will, in fact, the thing is, ordinarily, every system, every bank have their own various controls that will be inbuilt into the system. Even though you are doing an online transaction, they will monitor the pattern. If Canada, for instance, have a particular account, and it happens that what you do there is deposit for many years, any day you start making transactions online, like 3 or 4 transactions, the system will lock it up and tell you that the transaction has unusual pattern.
Okay.
It will just lock it up and say unusual, that the transaction have unusual pattern. So they are in a way protecting the customer. So if the customer is actually being, if that is actually a fraud, it means that the customer will lose minimal amount.
All right.
Okay. That is it. But if it's not, the customer will just go to the bank and say, please, I'm the one doing this transaction, please allow my system, the system to accept my transactions.
All right.
So I'm telling you experientially.
Okay, so this person says, I think the problem with the banking system is brain drain, as experienced ICT personnel have left for greener pastures abroad. After all, system upgrades and outright cut-off of core banking application do take place seamlessly in the past without much disruptions as recently experienced. Ikagu Etoke from Farm Road. Is that the case?
No fact there. Yes, the Japa syndrome, or whatever they call it, Japa syndrome affected the banking sector. That is true. But I can tell you authoritatively that as those people are leaving, other people are being recruited to replace them. What is happening, or what has happened for the past few days, is not a new thing. It's not a new thing, yes, in the system. As long as there will be a change, it's like the studio or the radio station where you work. If you want to change their platforms, surely there will be some kind of disruption
of service. Yeah.
So that's the way it works. After now, all these experiences will be a thing of the past, and they will see improvement.
Interesting.
Customers will experience improvement. Yes.
All right. So for people who have done transactions in the past few weeks, and because of this switch or upgrade, their monies are stuck in transit, and is there going to be, some people are afraid that their money may have gone missing, especially on X, formerly Twitter. I saw someone say, in some people's account, millions would appear, in others millions will disappear. It could be as a result of the upgrade, or maybe even a false narrative. But then again, is there the fear of missing money after this upgrade?
No, there is nothing. This is my first time of hearing that some people's accounts are appearing in millions, others like that. All I know is that when the process is complete, all the transfers will drop. They will just drop into the account. That is it. It is not going to hang anywhere unless there are other things that may have happened. But it's not because of this upgrade or change that is taking place in the core banking software. If it's complete, the transfers to those accounts will just drop in the account. That is it.
All right.
And I don't buy the idea that some people's accounts are now showing millions or billions. How can that happen?
All right. All right. So we'll go for a quick commercial. Please to stay on the line. When we do come back, I would like to get your final thoughts on our conversation. Please do stay tuned.
Thank you. Thank you.